It was the poet Rumi who said, "Where there is ruin, there is hope for a treasure." If you're living your life today in ruin, is there any hope? And a lot of people's lives feels like ruin. You feel in your life a bit hopeless. There's nobody to talk to. You have no hope for the future. When you wake up in the morning, it's, oh no, not another day. And you hope that whatever you're dealing with or whatever you're facing, you just hope it will soon be over. And it feels pretty dark in your life. And then as Christians, we have all those verses in our life, in our minds and in our life about Jeremiah 29:11, God saying, "I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, to give you hope and a future, not to harm you." And then we have those verses about trusting in God. And it's easy to have faith and trust and hope when everything is going good. When you got $1 million in your bank account, easy to trust in the loving abundance of God. When people are loving you in your life and you're receiving that, easy to trust in the extravagant love of God and others. When there's peace in your world, easy to trust in the peace of God. But when it's hard, when we need faith the most, what do? It's like Abraham Lincoln, wasn't it he that said, when you get to the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on? So if we really believe those things, that God promises to give us hope and a future, not to harm us, how can I make it through the dark times? Because everything in my life feels like a ruin and feels wrong. Could it be that God's plans are really good even when they don't feel like it? Come on, and don't give me this line of just trust that everything. There has to be a deeper kind of trust in this. Other, it's just kind of platitudes and surface level. So if we really believed in the goodness and love of God and planned for our lives, then we would know that everything happening in our lives is not happening to us, but for us. And we would know and trust and believe that nothing ever goes wrong in our lives. For those of you who are suffering deep depression and despair and darkness now, can you say those things and believe them and feel them and trust that nothing is going wrong in my life? Things aren't happening to me, but for me? I think it's a call and an invitation to us to go deeper in our trust, the assurance of things hoped for. So here's a thought. What could you and I not accept if we knew that everything that happens, all events, past, present, and to come, are gently planned by the one whose only purpose is our good? The problem is we don't really believe that when we're struggling in ruin and in darkness. But could it be that even in our ruin, there is a deeper invitation for our deeper healing and wholeness? And could it be that we've misunderstood God's plans whenever we think that God is causing harm in our lives? That nothing ever goes wrong, it's happening for me, and that there's a deeper invitation for wholeness and healing in my life. That God is leading us every step of the way. But in my defense and in my resistance to God's love, I don't see it. But God's loving blessing is shining on me every step and within and in every step I ever took. And the promise from God, if there was a promise for a future undisturbed, without a trace of sorrow, and with joy that would constantly increase, would I be interested? You bet I'd be interested. What is the answer for that? In my experience, I can only come back to present trust in God and in the love of God and the love of Christ. Present trust. And if I can do that in the present moment, moment by moment by moment, present trust, I'll make it through, and I'll know God is in me, with me, in it. The problem is I lose a little bit of faith and trust when I'm in the ruin. But with that present trust in the ruin, there's hope of treasure, healing, and removing the blocks to the awareness of God's love and presence within. So maybe you and I are like a pilot flying by his instrument panel today. A fearful pilot or a joyful pilot? Pretty scared. Not seeing the horizon, flying through the fog and the rain, but trying to trust in the instrument panel that he'll make it through. And if you're in that boat today, I hope these words in some way will comfort your soul. So God, you have good plan for me, hope and a future. You ask me to trust in you. Sometimes I don't believe it, but I will trust in this present moment. That's all I can do. Thank you for this invitation to deeper healing, that I may come to know you in a deeper way. May it be so. So until next time, may you live all the days of your life.